Deep in the heart of Scotland's northern Pinewoods lives a bird synonymous with the Highlands. Between the trees, a striking red eye, iridescent neck and radiant fan tail tease glimpses of one of the rarest and shyest inhabitants of the forest, a male Capercaillie. April brings him out of the shadows as it sparks the start of spring's courtship. Males assemble at a lek to dance and impress the gathering females. But sadly, sights like this one have become increasingly rare. In the 1970s, we had an estimated 20,000 Capercaillie living throughout Scotland.
But since then, we've lost the equivalent of one Capercaillie every single day.
With only 1% of their native pine forest remaining, habitat loss and habitat fragmentation are two of the main reasons for their rapid decline.
Now their population is thought to be around 542, making them one of the rarest birds we have in our forests. This makes them a major concern for researchers and conservationists alike.
One of them is Jack Bamber, a postgraduate researcher at the University of Aberdeen.
So what was it about Capercaillie then that brought you to this project?
I've always been interested in working with species that are of conservation concern and trying to find ways that we can help boost their numbers. With Capercaillie numbers being so low, when every nest means something more to the population, we need ways that we can try and mitigate things like predation without changing the good conservation that's been happening for the predators in these ecosystems as well.
Within the forest, there are a number of predators who see Capercaillie eggs and chicks as prey. Badgers, foxes, and more recently, one of the area's conservation success stories, the pine marten. During the 19th century, pine martens were themselves an extremely rare sight in these forests after years of persecution. But since their protection in 1981, their numbers have slowly been recovering. Great news for the pine marten. For the Capercaillie, it's an additional pressure, as pine marten are the top predator of Capercaillie nests here. Of course, the ideal situation is that both can exist happily, and that's where Jack comes in.
So the main technique that I've been looking at is something called diversion refeeding, which is where we put carrion and different food out specifically so that the predators that are living in this ecosystem can eat that instead of maybe eating rare prey like Capercaillie and their nests. And it's a natural process. I mean, these predators would be eating carrion normally by themselves in any ecosystem that they're living in. So we're just helping them along the way.
Jack's theory was that by supplying an alternative food source like a carcass during Capercaillie breeding season, predators would be enticed away from the nests towards the easy food source instead. And the results he found were pretty surprising.
What we found is in the sites where we are providing that carrion, as opposed to our control sites where we didn't provide any carrion, just had the nests, is that we saw an increase in nest survival by about 83%.
83%?
Yes.
That's a mammoth statistic.
Yeah, so that's a really big change, which is a really positive result from the experiment.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Because predators won't put in effort if they don't need to. It's a waste of energy. Why would you bother going and searching and scrambling for some small eggs when just around the corner you've got a smelly lump of really delicious meat that you can go and gorge yourself on? It makes sense as a predator to go to that instead of the others.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that. It really shows the potential of this method is really good to manage the impact of the predators as opposed to the populations of the predators.
In fact, Jack's diversion refeeding strategy has been so successful, it's now being implemented across Scotland.
It's sort of the dream of any researcher is to actually get your research used by people, so I've been really lucky in that regard that people have been so keen to engage with this strategy.
Yeah, lucky Capercaillie too. Thanks to Jack's brilliant conservation work alongside Cairngorm's Connect Predator project, Capercaillie stand a fighting chance. In the early 1990s, they thought the bird could become extinct by 2010. But the fact they're still here 30 years after that prediction is just phenomenal. And hopefully this pioneering work will go on to safeguarding their future even longer.